Alright, here we go. Good morning, everybody. We are live once again. We're going to do our chair stretches today. It is Wednesday, October 14th. I hope we're all doing okay. A little bit creaky today myself. I know I didn't sleep well. So my neck's a little not loving it, but that's okay. Listen, that's part of life, right? We all know we have good days, we have bad days. So today we're going to work on some chair stretches. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so let me just make sure. I want to make sure you grab a towel because I think we might use the towel today if we can on a couple of things where you might have struggle. So just have it handy. It doesn't have to be anywhere super close. Of course, hydration, coffee, and water. Right? Perfect. Now we're all ready to go. So we're going to start up, down, because that's the way we like to do it. Again, arbitrary, right? You can do it down, up, right? There's no real rhyme or reason. I just find it easier to remember to go up, down. That's just me. All right? So we're going to start with the neck, okay? So we've done these before standing up. We're going to do them sitting down. So remember now, we bring our head forward and down. We don't squish our chin in. We stretch out the back of the neck. There we go. Just like that. And we relax it down. Good. Perfect. Easy as pie, right? All right, now we're going to go to the side. Ready? Now, you're not pushing your head down. You're letting your head relax to one side so that you get a stretch right here. Right? Remember, stretches are to be relaxing, not stress-inducing or tense. Good. Nice. Now, shoulder rolls, always important. Okay? So we get these in. There we go. Now we'll go backwards. Nice. Good job. Now we're going to try something a little bit different. We've done this last week. Okay, we're going to open that thoracic area, but here's what we're going to do. We're going to bring our hands up behind our head. If you can do this comfortably, that is. Okay? So you see my elbows are kind of out right now, because traditionally you're going to be more in here. Now we're going to try to bring our elbows back to open ourselves up. If this causes you discomfort, obviously you don't do it. But if we can do it, now it doesn't have to be extreme, right? We're just going back a little bit. Just to open up that chest cavity. Good, and we bring it back. Remember, we reset slowly. So now if you couldn't do that comfortably, let's do one that's going to help you comfortably, right? So arms down about a 45. Now remember, our back is straight through all of this, guys, right? Like you can tell, just from the front, you can tell if someone's slouching, right? Very obvious. So, up straight, arms at about a 45, maybe less, anywhere is fine around this area. Obviously up here if you can, but not necessary, okay? So here we go. Remember, this is all about here, so don't worry about getting the arms back so far. The idea is we're puffing out the chest, right? Like as if you were taking a deep breath and want to expand that area. That's what we're doing. Good. Fantastic. Good job. Very nice. Now we're going to do some more torso twists, okay? So, arms up like this. Remember, the elbows are up because, once again, elbows down, rolls the shoulders. We lift the elbows up. It encourages the proper posture. It's all about movement here, right? So we want to get that stretching here. As you turn, your hips are going to be pinned to the chair. So do it slowly, even slower than you do it standing up. Because when we do it standing up, the hips aren't pinned down, right? So if they move a little bit, not the end of the world. But when you're sitting and they're pinned, you can very easily move too far, okay? So let's go nice and slow, right? Just moving the top of our body. And we're getting to where it's comfortable, and we hold it. Nice. So you're going to feel a general tightness on both sides of the body. That's what we're expecting. And there we go. Good. How was that? Feel okay? We'll do a second one. Yeah, my neck is still stiff today. It's gonna be one of those days, right? It's the raininess. It's gloomy out. Okay, here we go. But that's okay, right? Like, to have days that are a little bit stiffer than others is gonna happen to all of us, to the best of us, right? Olympic athletes wake up and they're sore sometimes. that's how it goes. That's, our bodies are like that. We put them through wear and tear, and especially sleeping. So surprisingly, sleeping can cause a lot of pain. So imagine yourself in a position that's uncomfortable. So we'll say, imagine yourself with your arm behind your back. Not very comfortable. Now, if you fell asleep on that, so now you're 8 hours in this uncomfortable position. Your body is going to remind you not to do that again, and it's going to last a couple of days. So sleeping is important, right? How we sleep is important. So yes, it is possible to be fine, go to bed, wake up, and not be fine. It's very possible, okay? So don't freak out too much about it. It's discouraging, I know, trust me, but you can get past it by doing daily stretches. Okay, so now we're going to work on the lower back, all right? So standing up straight, of course. What we're going to do is we're going to try to get our elbows to our knees. Now, you might only get this portion of the forearm, right? You might be so tight that you can't get that far down. That's okay. It'll come, right? But the idea is keeping your back straight, always keeping the back straight. Come down as far as you can go to let that back stretch out. Now, you're going to have areas where the hip is also being stretched, depending how deep you get. Right? And here you got to relax, because your back is going to be fighting you. Good. Now, we've got that stage. Good. Here we go. Ready for part two? Now we let our elbows out, and we go down even more, allowed to bend that lower back for once, and we relax into this. All right, so now you're getting to the point where you're almost grabbing your feet. And when we come up, arms back up on the legs for support, we straighten ourselves up, and then we sit up straight, okay? It's important that we do that because we don't want to pull ourselves up. So just to show you the difference, right? So now I'm up here, and I have all kinds of support to pull myself up. Whereas if I'm bent, now obviously I'm in good shape, I can do this. My lower back is doing all the work to lift me up. Now I train my lower back, right? When I work out, I work on my lower back. Most people only do it when they're exercising. It's not a daily thing. So we want to make sure that that back is supported. You might have a weaker back than me because, again, 7 billion people in the world, no two are the same. Make sure that your back is supported through all of this. This is a stretch. We're not trying to tire it out and make you have a sore back for the rest of the day, okay? So let's try this again. We'll go nice and slow, stages, right? So we sit. Our posture is good. Perfect. We bring our elbows down to our knees. Again, if you can only come here, that's fine too, right? But as far as you can go. Keeping the back straight. From here, we slide them off the legs and we fold ourselves down. Good. And now down in this position, we relax. Don't try to stretch and reach for your toes. Relax. Let the body settle into this position. Good. Now, again, back up slow. Bring the arms up for support. Straighten the back and bring ourselves up. Great job. That's fantastic. All right. Well, listen, we're halfway there. Okay. We're going to work on the glutes, hamstrings, calves, ankles. Okay. So here's where the towel is going to come in handy if you need it. Okay. So is the two-part thing. You might not be at this stage yet, so you might need to be getting there through the multiple weeks of stretches we're doing. But we're going to bring our leg up, right? And we're going to bring it right here to just a cross section. So what you're doing is you're stretching the leg on this side, okay? You're going to be stretching that glute. Now, your back is always straight. Now, if you have a problem, the idea is to lean forward a little bit and stretch the glute. But you might be really, really tight. So again, we can use these towels, right? Just to try to pull ourselves forward a little bit if you have trouble, okay? And remember, it's a little bit, right? So, you're sitting up straight. That's okay if your leg is like this, right? That's okay. It'll do fine, right? We do the best we can. Now, we just try to stretch forward a little bit, and you're going to feel that glute stretch. So I'm going to turn to the side, okay? So where you're feeling it should be right here, right along kind of that outer edge of that glute, right? And we're just keeping the back straight and just a small lean. Doesn't take much because you're already adding the tension to this side, right? There you go. That's it. Perfect. Now we get to the other side, which if you're anything like me, you got one side way less flexible than the other due to injury. Because that's, as you get old. When you're young, you do something that hurts you and you just get on with it, right? You're like, oh, my leg's broken. Well, I'm still going to run with my friends and do all kinds of fun stuff, right? So that's how that goes. And we tend to forget that future us won't be so happy. So now we stretch that glute out. There we go. Remember, we relax into it. And as you relax into it, you see my leg is already sinking more, you see. There we go. Perfect. Good. So we stretched out the glutes. On to the hamstrings. So, remember, this one, always important. So, I'll do the outer leg first. Okay? So, first of all, your toe, your foot can't just be flopping. Okay? Your foot has to be active and pointed up towards the ceiling. Now, your knee is straight and your back is straight. Make sure you're in a chair that doesn't push up right here. So often we'll sit on a hard chair, and we'll sit back a little bit, let's say, right? And of course, this chair is comically small, so it doesn't work very well. But you'll see how the chair is digging into my leg. That is going to cause pain and discomfort. We don't want that. So you got to scoot yourself off to the front of the chair so you can comfortably get your leg straight without anything digging in, okay? I mean, I got my wallet. What a bad... Don't worry, it's empty. All right. So, back straight. Now we got our leg in the proper position in order to do this, right? And why is it important? Again, we're going to go through this slowly because not everybody, I realize some of you out there, you know how to do this and you're jumping into it. But there are people who aren't sure how to do this, or they forget, but they don't really understand why it's important, okay? So we want to educate people. This whole thing, the hamstring is going to run from here, connected, right? This is like, if you have sciatic nerve pain, this is the guy you want to do, okay? And it connects down here, so there are insertion points and exit points of your tissues, okay? Now, the problem is we need to put a stretch onto this area. If I bend my back, I'm not pulling on the back end of that tissue. That means I'm putting more pressure onto my knee in order to feel that stretch. And that's, you can hyperextend your knee, cause huge knee pains and possible injury if you don't do it right. So, always back straight, leg in proper position. This is how we're doing it. Perfect. Now, we're going to use the other leg for support because we're going to sit ourselves forward, keeping the back straight, and you're going to feel almost immediately, I mean, some of you might feel just by straightening up, but you're going to feel almost immediately that whole hamstring tingling all the way down to the toes, right? And that's the hamstring stretch, just a proper hamstring stretch, all the length of the hamstring. You feel it way up here, just at the same amount as you feel it down by the knee, okay? If you don't feel it at the top, right, I do this, big difference, right? We keep that back straight. Good job. Awesome. Great. Now we'll do the other side. Ready? Slide. Good. All right. So, how does that go? You going okay for you guys? I realize I'm being quiet because I'm in this relax into the stretch mode. Sometimes I'm not chatty, but I guess that's normal. Perfect. Now, remember guys, not like this, like this. Good. So, that's all done. We're going to move on to the lower legs, okay? So, we just have 2 more things to do. We're going to work the ankles up, and we're going to work the calves up. We're going to stretch those guys out, okay? So, the calf is quite easy, okay? So, we're going to be gentle about it now. You're going to lean back, and you see how my heels are off the ground a little bit? Okay? If your heels are off the ground, like this, you're too far. Because now if I'm going to force those onto the ground, it's going to hurt my Achilles tendon. So you try to pull them back to where they're flat. Good. And then we're just going to inch them backwards a little bit at a time until we can get, oh, now you're going to feel it start to stretch, right? So we just inch it back. So you don't rush it back. You get to where it's easy, and then we inch it back, and then we're going to lean forward just a little bit back straight. That's just going to give a small, tender stretch to the calf. Now, ideally, you're doing a calf stretch standing up, like the ones we showed you, okay? But if you are not in that position and you have to do them sitting down, this is a fine alternative. Be a little bit less of a stretch, because it's not as deep as you can get when you're standing up, but it will do fine. Now, if we're a little bit more advanced, you can calf stretch this way, right, by putting your toe down and stretching your calf out backwards, but I wouldn't suggest it for the average goer, okay? Average people, let's just concentrate on getting a small stretch in. Because if you can stand and you're doing them standing up, you don't need this stretch. This is going to be for that stretch. Those people who, you know what, they just have trouble, they can't do it standing up yet. Because not everyone's there, right? There are people that are a lot of bad cases out there, and we want to help them all. Right? So there we go. So last one, we're going to do our ankle circles. So this one, we're going to do our heel pin, right? So our heels pinned to the ground. And we're going to do these nice circles. And like I said, guys, if the circles aren't all that nice at first and they kind of look like ankle squares, that's okay. That's fine, right? They will eventually be circles. But the reason being is as you get to do this more and more, you get more and more flexibility, and you start to notice you're doing circles, that's you getting better. That's not luck. That's not a fluke. Okay? That's you putting in the work of having these kind of wonky looking ankle circles and eventually being able to do nice ones. So congratulate yourself, right? As you improve, really appreciate it. Because it is hard work, right? It is. And it's a lot of work. And it's daily work. And sometimes we don't feel like doing it. I get it. Believe me, I get it, right? But that's the challenge of health. So you got to just remember that the reason you're doing it is for quality of life, less pain, more mobility, these kinds of things. So don't look at it as a chore that's just for chore's sake, right? There is clear benefits to doing it while you're doing it. You're going to see the improvement really, really fast. So don't get discouraged. We'll help you get there. If there's anything you need, obviously you can contact us directly, right? So that's it for today, folks. As usual, please subscribe to the channel. That always helps. Share this video with all of your friends and whoever might need it, because again, we're trying to help as many people as possible. And like that, have yourself a great day. And I'll lean up here for the awkward sign off as always.